Kunjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Gopi Janavalava Girivara Dari Gopi Janavalava Girivara Dari Yashodanandana Braja Jananandana Yashodanandana Braja Jananandana Yashodanandana Braja Jananandana Yamuna Tira Vanajari Yamuna Tira Vanajari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 65, verses 32 to 34. As I said, I'm going to be reading it old school out of an actual physical book. Thank goodness I have them when the tech goes down and you can't get database. There are several verses. I will spare you my crappy Sanskrit until the very last one and just read it in English. So here we go. Verse 32. Lord Balaram dressed himself in the blue garments and put on the gold necklace. Anointed with fragrance and beautifully adorned, he appeared as resplendent as Indra's royal elephant. Even today, O king, one can see how the Jamuna flows through the many channels created when it was dragged by the unlimitedly powerful Lord Balaram. Thus, she demonstrates her prowess. I'm going to do a short purport that's not here. When I was talking about this pastime with my Gurudev, he says that twice he's been to the Jamuna, and when he looked, he actually saw on either side of it track marks. This is what Gurudev said. And then the last verse, which is 34, thus, for Lord Balaram, all nights passed like a single night as he enjoyed in Vraj, his mind enchanted by the exquisite charm and beauty of Vraj's young ladies. And I will do this one in Sanskrit. I did it sort of backwards. Evam sarva nishayata ekeva ramato raje ramasyaksipta chittasya madhurya rajayositam. And again, this is the translation and purport by the most glorious disciples of Srila Prabhupada ki Jaya. Thus, for Lord Balaram, all the nights passed like a single night as he enjoyed in Vraj, his mind enchanted by the exquisite charm and beauty of Vraj's young ladies. Purport. Lord Balaram was enchanted by the charming pastimes of the beautiful young ladies of Vraj. Thus, each night was a completely new experience, and all the nights passed as if they were a single night. Om Jnana Timirandachat, Janan Shalakaya, Takshami Tamina Tasmai Shri Guride Namaha, Vancha Kopatirubicha, Kripa Sindue Bicha, Petitanam Pavanavyo Vaishnavi No Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vas Hare Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Again, I seek your blessings. And I ask for your forgiveness. My husband's bringing over my computer because it's working now, but I think I'm fine. I'm going to stay on the phone. Thank you, sweetie. But people that know my husband always know he's there for me, getting up. And when my computer wouldn't work, I'm trying to use his. That's not working. But when reading these verses, I was reminding of something my guru Dave says, and he says sometimes it's all about the rasa. Sometimes it's just all about the rasa. Some verses are very technical and we look at word for word and we tease out like what exactly this word means. And some of those verses are the lineages. This one is connected to this one and this one is connected for this one. But sometimes it's all about the rasa. It's about the juice. It's the experience. And in the end, it is verses like these remind me that is what it's all about. Bhakti isn't something just to be thought, my Guru Dev always says. It is something that is to be felt. And I love that this ends with that there is Balaram. We see him like so much that all this time passes like it's one single night. And so one of the things that I always feel whenever the subject of Lord Balaram comes up is I feel an immediate connection. You know how maybe some of us have things that when we first came to the path of bhakti, like really hooked us in right away. For me, the first time I ever heard about the conception that God created himself a brother really hooked me in because I am the very proud sister, little sister of three amazing men, Michael, Sonny, and Robbie, who are my brothers, who do my late father great honor every single day. And being their little sister, I grew up at their feet and I saw the kind of pastimes that I see in the exploits of Krishna and Balaram. And so the minute I read this, I said, aha, I get it. These pastimes of my brothers are just, this is the earthly, this is what is going on. And what a wonderful thing that Krishna made himself. This, and there was a TV show once long ago called Band of Brothers, that Krishna has himself a band of a brother. And that when we look in our teachings, there's these beautiful bands of brotherhood. And I always think it's really sad that these white nationalists have chosen to call themselves the brotherhood, right? Because growing up in an African American community, it is very common for us people to address as sister and brother. And listen to what the definition of brotherhood is: the feeling of kinship with and closeness to a group of people or all people. Let me read that again. The feeling of kinship with and closeness to a group of people or all people. What a beautiful definition, and what a beautiful thing that Lord Krishna has done by having himself a brother. And through our text, we see all this, what I'm thinking of, band of brothers. The first bhakti text that I actually ever read was the Ramayana. And in the Ramayana, we see Lakshman. I mean, come on, what a brother. No, Ram, you don't have to go in the forest alone. I will go with you. And as you and Mother Sita sleep, I will guard you. I will not even look at Mother Sita's face. I will look at her feet and I will stand by you in a jungle. And remember, they weren't glamping. This is like there's wild animals around. I will guard you. And then who is it that takes Mother Sita, away in that boat when she's pregnant? Who is it that does that? That's Lakshman. I will go. I will take her. I will take her away. How pained he must have felt. And then at the end of his life, Lakshman literally walks through a door first for Ram. What a brother. And then also the Ramayana, we see another brother who's really wonderful, Vibhisan. Vibhisan, who tries his very best to turn his brother Ravana around. He says, brother, none of these other advisors love you. I do. Listen to me. But he doesn't. And that, of course, always makes me think of Vidura. Vidura constantly knocking on Dhritarashtra's door. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. Let me guide you, brother. Let me give you the advice that no one else will do. What a brother. And then, of course, we have Lord Nityananda, who is not, I always say, not brothers of the DNA, but brothers of the soul with our Lord Chaitanya, who takes Lord Chaitanya's mission and bursts it out in the street. And as our Chuta Gopi says, takes his hands and goes, take it, take it, take it to the holy name. This transcendental wild man. What indeed a brother. And then I feel like these are all stepping stools to this divine brotherhood between Krishna and Lord Balaram. And so we know it. So many of us have seen those pictures of Balaram and Krishna stacking those clay pots on top of each other and this little mischievous look in their eye as they're reaching for the butter. We've seen the pictures of them swinging from the cows' tails. And so I'd like to read directly from the Krishna book some of the delight of this wonderful brotherhood. And it's sometimes, like Gurudev said, it's about the rasa. Don't just listen, feel it. Krishna book says, this is the gopis talking, the more senior gopis. Dear Yashoda, why don't you restrict your naughty Krishna? He comes to our houses along with Balaram every morning and evening before milking the cows. They let loose the calves, and the calves drink all the milk of the cows. So when we go to milk the cows, we find no milk. And we have to return with empty pots. If we warn Krishna and Balaram about doing this, they simply smile so charmingly that we cannot do anything. Also, your Krishna and Balaram find great pleasure in stealing our stock of yogurt and butter from wherever we keep it. When Krishna and Balaram are caught stealing the yogurt and butter, they say, "Why do you charge us with stealing? Do you think that butter and yogurt are in scarcity in our house?" Sometimes they steal butter, yogurt, and milk and distribute them to the monkeys. When the monkeys are well fed and do not take any more, then your boys chide. This milk and butter and yogurt are useless. Even the monkeys won't take it. And they break the pots and throw them hither and thither. If we keep our stock of yogurt, butter, and milk in a solitary dark place, your Krishna and Balaram will find it in the darkness by the glaring effluence of the ornaments and jewels on their bodies. If by chance they cannot find the hidden butter and yogurt, they go to our little babies and pinch their bodies so they cry, and then they go away. If out of fear of these naughty boys, we keep our stock of butter and yogurt high on the ceiling, hanging on a swing, although it is beyond their reach, they arrange to reach it by pulling all sorts of wooden planks under the grinding machine. And if they cannot reach, they make a hole in the pot. We think, therefore, that you better take all the jeweled ornaments from the bodies of your children. What scams, what brother. And I can think of the time that my brothers knocked down my mother's little fledgling cherry tree in the backyard when they were playing baseball. And then they stuck the stick back in the ground. And when my mom came by, who broke it down? They're like, no, nobody. Or then they do what Krishna and Balaram's about to do to Krishna. They point at each other. Michael did it. No, Sonny did it. No, Robbie did it. Because listen on now to another adventure. Another day, when Krishna and Balaram were playing with their friends, all the boys joined Balaram and complained to Mother Yashoda that Krishna had eaten, you know what it is, clay. On hearing this, Mother Yashoda caught hold of Krishna's hand and said, "My dear Krishna, why have you eaten earth in a solitary place? Just see, all your friends, including Balaram, are complaining about you." Being afraid of his mother, Krishna replies, here's the finger pointing. "My dear mother, all these boys, including my elder brother Balaram, are speaking lies against me. I have never eaten clay. My elder brother Balaram, while playing with me today, became angry, and therefore he has joined with the other boys to complain against me. They have all combined together to complain, so you will be angry and chastise me. If you think they are truthful, then you can look within my mouth to see whether I've eaten clay or not." And we all know what happens after that. But look to see the sweetness of this finger pointing. And maybe you have seen it too. No, he did it. No, he did it. No, he did it. What a sweet relationship. And then this is the part I really wanted to hopefully have pulled up so you can read it, which of Srimad, the 10th canto is so big. Let me see here. Yes. And then one of the pastimes that I really love so much is Krishna entering the forest of Vrindavan. And this is 10th canto, chapter 15. I'm starting with verse 3, and I'll be reading 3 through 5 that anybody wants to look or potentially share. Listen to the sweetness of the relationship between these brothers. The Supreme Personality looked over the forest, which resounded with the charming sounds of bees, animals, and birds, and which was enhanced by a lake whose clear water resembled the minds of great souls, and a breeze carried the fragrance of 100-petal lotuses. Seeing all this, Lord Krishna decided to enjoy the auspicious atmosphere. The primeval Lord saw that the stately trees, with their beautiful reddish buds and their heavy burden of fruits and flowers, were bending down to touch his feet with the tips of their branches. Thus he smiled gently and addressed his elder brother, Balaram. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "O greatest of lords, just see how these trees are bowing their heads to your lotus feet, which are worshipable by their immortal demigods. The trees are offering you their fruits and flowers to eradicate the dark ignorance that has caused their birth as trees. O original personality," remember this is Krishna addressing Balaram, "these bees must all be great sages and most elevated devotees of yours, for they're worshiping you by following you along the path and chanting your glories, which are themselves a holy place for the entire world. Though you have disguised yourself within this forest, O sinless one, they refuse to abandon you, their worshipable Lord. O worshipable one, these peacocks are dancing before you out of joy. These does are pleasing you with affectionate glances, just as the gopis do. And these cockatoos are honoring you with Vedic prayers. All these residents of the forest are most fortunate, and the behavior towards you certainly befits great souls receiving another great soul at home." And one last verse of Krishna really glorifying his older brother. "This earth has now become most fortunate because you have touched her grass and bushes with your feet, and her trees and creepers with your fingernails, and because you have graced her rivers, mountains, birds, and animals with your merciful glances. Above all, you have embraced the young cowherd women between your two arms, a favor hankered after by the goddess of fortune herself." And so, what a beautiful relationship. It is all glories to my brother, because you. And what a model we can take to glorify our God siblings and the other Vaishnavas in our lives. Is he here today? Oftentimes my God brother Donna Cayley is here. Is he here? He is not here today. But I can glorify him because a couple of weeks ago when Henry was there at a wonderful retreat that my Guru Dev, Donna Cayley was such a selfless servant to my Guru Dev and is a really good cook, FYI, serving. So what a beautiful way, what a beautiful relationship that this brotherhood is. But of course, we also know something about Balaram. Is he indeed the brother of Krishna? Yes, but what is he? We know what he also is. He is Adi Guru. He is the original guru. And as I was thinking, Jeffrey, about your question the other day, when you said, how are you to make sense of this plow, of this Balaram in this pastime, dragging the Jamuna to him? I was thinking of it like this. When we look at the shape of the plow, and I just did it with my fingers, it's the shape of an L. And I was thinking of it of love. And I was thinking of Balaram as the guru. And what does the guru do? He drags us towards Krishna. Krishna gives us guru, as we know. Guru gives us Krishna. And so I was thinking about that the guru, knowing that the word means heavy, like sticks that plow, digs through the dirt, which because our heart can be like a stone, might be like the hard earth. And what do? They dig it in with their instruction. They dig it, and literally they drag us towards Krishna. And it's such a reminder that guru is no light thing. To seek the guidance and the initiative of guru is no light thing, because look what they take on. They take on this responsibility of pulling us towards Krishna, of giving us this jewel. I was reminding of the pastime, and surely all of us know it, of Sanatana Goswami and the Brahmana that comes to him and says, I understand that you have a great jewel. I understand that you have a touchstone that can turn anything into gold. And Sanatana Swami says, yeah, I do. It's right over there in the trash heap. You can take it. And the guy takes it. And he's like, whoa, I have this jewel. Well, then he thinks, does anybody think, wait a minute. If this is something he keeps in the trash heap, he must have something better. So he goes back to Sanatana Goswami. And he says, wait a minute. Do you actually have something better than this jewel? And Sanatana Swami says, yeah, I got something way better than that stone. But you have to throw that stone away if you want it. And so the Brahmana hefts that stone into the Jamuna. And Sanatana Swami, I always, in my mind anyway, picture him beckoning the Brahmana in, leaning in and saying, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the jewel. And that is what the guru gives us. In Bhagavad Gita 13:8-12, which is really literally, everybody's his favorite verse. And I say that about a bunch of things, but really that's like my favorite section, because it is, when Krishna is telling us like, what is knowledge? And he begins with that beautiful list, right? Humility, pridelessness, and such. And then what does he say right in that first line? He says to seek out a bona fide spiritual master. Bona fide spiritual master. Because that is intelligence. And, as most of you know, I teach in the yoga world. So a lot of times when I get to that verse about, bona fide spiritual, master, the word master is such a trip for people, especially, and I get it, coming out of an African-American body. There's a lot of connotation that one can layer onto that. But what I always say, I don't know about you, right? But when I go to my doctor's office, I want those diplomas on the wall, quite frankly. I want a lot of diplomas on my wall. And frankly, this is a personal thing, but I don't like a doctor that's under 40 years old. I do not want the kid that just graduated from medical school. I want a little gray hair here and here, because I want them to know what the freak they're doing, right? So isn't it true? Isn't it such that we would want, for the most important thing that there could possibly be, want a guru, want a master? And it is no small thing. And so I did some looking into, let me find it, because I was going to have it more nicely set up, but then the technical happens. Yes. So I did some research, and I was looking at something that Radhanath Swami had written about the guru. Here it is right here. And Radhanath Swami said, and it's really beautiful, he says, a real guru teaches according to previous masters. He's the humble servant of his guru. His teaching process is very simple. If we find someone who is teaching surrender to God, is coming in a line of such gurus, and is humbly following his master, then he is the right guru. It is not a question of mystic powers. It is not a question of magic shows. It is not a question of guru who reads minds or creates articles out of veneer or has millions and billions and trillions of disciples. A guru is simply a humble servant of the Lord, teaching us how to be a humble servants of the Lord. according to the word of scriptures and according to the previous saints. This is all. He simply first presents the truth in his life and in his words. If we are sincere, we understand these things, and we search, then God will lead us to the proper guru, and the guru will reveal God to us. It is not very difficult. We need such a person we can trust. Yes, through him, I'm receiving the divine grace of the Lord. And so when I was looking at this, and this is really interesting, there was a review of The Journey Home, and it's making me, I haven't read, I've read The Journey Home, like many of us, many, many times. I haven't read it in a couple of years, and it's really reminding me I need to pick it back up again. So there's a review of the book, and this reviewer is not a practitioner of bhakti, but after reading the book, he gives a really, really beautiful purport of the section that Radhanath Maharaj writes about when he meets Prabhupada. So, cognizant of the time, it's one other thing, but I wanted to make sure I read this. And this is how Radhanath Swami is talking about meeting his guru, Srila Prabhupada. Ki Jai. An outpouring of gratitude sprung from my heart, is Radhanath Swami speaking. For this blessing, I'd endured dangers and hardships. For this treasure, my whole journey had been taken. For this precious moment, my soul had ached and yearned. God had revealed my path. The fog of doubt and apprehension had cleared, and I now find myself before a fully enlightened spiritual master to whom I could dedicate my life. That for which I had offered thousands of prayers and shed countless tears to attain was now revealed. And how sweetly it was done. My joy knew no bounds. In his divine person, Srila Prabhupada embodied the teachings I discovered at the heart of every tradition I'd scrutinized. I'd experienced the timeless love and the wisdom of galaxies of saints flooding from his lips and drowning my every doubt as he spoke. He delivered a message that had been preserved through the ages by an unbroken line of masters who teach us how to realize our intimate relation with the all-attracted beloved. In my heart had awakened a faith that this humble saint, so small a frame, was actually full in love with Krishna, and that Krishna, the Supreme Lord, was fully in love with him. And so I'm going to end with what the commentator wrote. Remember, he's not a practicing Vaishnava. He came to it probably with the attitude that some of my yoga teachers, my yoga students do, that the whole thing, spiritual master, what the heck, what is that about? And this is what, after reading this commentator said. My realization on reading the section was that the principles and practices of spirituality are most profound and subtle, far more than those of any other field. To pursue any field seriously, we get immense benefit by learning from a person who is experienced and learned in that field. Then how much more this could be said for spirituality. Seeing Radhanath Swami's meeting so many gurus and his final decision to connect to one of them was a significant affirmation for me that we need a systematic training, shelter, and guidance from one teacher. I began to feel that if we insist on practicing spirituality without a spiritual guide, we will most likely get lost in the plethora of philosophies and practices and not make any substantial spiritual advancement. And so I'll end with this, back to this image of Balaram with that plow being the guru, dragging us. I had a yoga teacher, Keely Garfield. She was really wonderful. And she used to walk around in the class and she would say, let go or be dragged. And I was thinking in bhakti, it's both. It's let go, surrender, and allow ourselves with the blessings and the mercy of the guru to be dragged home, to be dragged back to Krishna. So it is not just let go or be dragged. I was thinking it's let go and be dragged. Let us take this opportunity to allow ourselves to be dragged back home, and not take the teachings of our spiritual masters or any of our teachers cheaply. It is a heavy thing, it is a serious thing, and it's a blessing. So I beg your forgiveness and your tolerance. And I forgot to seek the blessings of Adi at the beginning. And Arjuna, please forgive me for that. And all the senior Vaishnavas, and you were all senior to me. I was flummoxed because of my technical difficulties. So please forgive me for not seeking the blessings of the senior devotees that are on this call. So I listen to this class all the time, so I know when Nanda Bihari is going to say, make sure you leave time for questions and and comments. And so if anybody has anything, that questions, comments, corrections, I'll do them early. Gopal jokes. I see Bhima on the farm. Bhima, please bless me.
Hare Krishna, Jamuna, Jaya.
Hare
How
Krishna.
are you doing?
I
I
am
shouldn't even
good.
ask that. How are you doing? It is so obvious how you are doing. Um, I just wanted to say, I remember uh, talking to you about Serenity Retreat, yoga place, and you said, "Oh, I don't know anything about running anything, organizing anything. I just show up. I just show up." And I have to say that in regards to this class and all classes that you have given, you've never just shown up. It shows, these classes show a depth of preparation, and you link together such disparate that you should find a purport in a review of Radhanath Swami's uh, um, uh, book that pulls together Shastra and quotations from various, sources, pull it all together about the importance of a guru, about a relationship with the guru and the responsibilities of the guru, and then pull it all the way back around in a large circle back to Balaram with his plow, pulling us, dragging us in the right direction. And I just think it's wonderful. I was watching the arch of your class. I was hearing the arch of your class, and I was amazed. And I came to a realization that you truly are a person who can organize and manage things and bring them home. So the job offering is still open. But yeah, thank you very much for taking the time to almost artistically paint a picture for us in a sweet picture, not like Krishna says you need a guru and it says you need a guru, but that, you show us, you paint a picture of how important it is to have a guide and someone who is willing to go out of their way to and especially the idea that what that reviewer said, that without a spiritual master we're left in this plethora of so many differing views, that we're bound to get lost. It's a labyrinth, and the mind is a labyrinth, what to speak of the outside world. So to be able to have someone whom you can have trust. The first thing, of course, is trust. And I trust. I also want to know what morning drink that you have that makes you so happy and jubilant. I'm sure it's not part of the regulative principles because you seem thoroughly intoxicated. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhima. Thank you, Bhima, so much. It is, Ani has taught me not to go, no, I accept your compliment on behalf of my Guru Dev, who, I always say that Maharaj, he's always had but one instruction for me, really. And he pulls me and goes, Jamuna Jaya, taste and distribute. And so it is from his classes, it is from all of you, it is from Srila Prabhupada, it is from all the many speakers. Madan Gopal is here, and Jai Nitai, I think, is in the room. Baba Bhakti's in the room. Mandahar is here. Adi's in the room. So many people. I just try to use my ears, and it is Krishna's mercy every step of the way, because I don't. There's an old movie from there was an old song. I forget what movie it says. You can ask yourself, how did I get here? And I always feel like that. I don't know why I'm here. I'm undeserving to be here, but I'm just so, because a guru took his plow and dug it in, and every day drags me towards him with his exemplary uh, model of what it is to be a devotee, his exemplary sadhana, his exemplary, the way he relates to people. My Guru Dev is extraordinary at that. That no one goes unseen, that no one feels excluded. He is able to talk with everyone. So I have a really good model. And if I do him any justice at all, then it's made me very, very happy. So thank you. Rangalila, please. I don't see your sweet face, though, which is making me sad. There it is. Yay, Herbal.
Thank you for this wonderful class.
Thank you, darling.
I really loved when you made example with your brothers. I really liked when you shared the memory about the cherry tree.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because
They
I
still
also
talk
have the
about
same relationship with Krishna, kind of.
it.
Like, I take him as my brother, so I sometimes have the same things.
Oh, wonderful. Yes. Do you have older brothers or younger brothers?
I have an older sister.
Older sister. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah. And it's wonderful to view that relationship in looking at it as a spiritual relationship. Yes, and to this day, if we get together, my brothers, they'll talk about a few things, and that is one of the pastimes that they always bring up. They knock down the tree and then put it back in, and then point it at each other. Let's see, there are a bunch of things. I know Jeffrey was doing a great job of helping me out, because I'm on the phone putting all sorts of things in the chat box. But is there any question that I missed? Anybody in the is there a question? Let's scroll. Or if anybody knows if there's a question that anybody wanted to. Oh, great. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. And thank you, Grungalila.
Hare Krishna, Jamuna Jaya. Thank you so much for this class. I did put some of the Radhanath Swami references that you brought up into the chat, but I don't believe there's any questions there.
Okay, great. Thank you. Temple room.
Just a comment.
Yeah. Hey, Gail.
Hey, just wanted to say hello mostly, and thank you for speaking on my favorite subject. And I also appreciated that spin that you put on the word master, because I totally related to your concern about that word. So it was nice to hear about master as, the master of a particular subject, rather than the,
Master.
Yes, a master type thing.
Yes.
I mean, that's not enough to kill that, connotation for me, because that's like, that cannot be done in this lifetime. Even though, I'm first generation, and my ancestry doesn't go in that direction, but yeah, that's like,
your ancestors are going in the same direction as you're going, Gail.
What am I hearing?
What, Ananda Bihari?
I said Gail's ancestors are going in the same direction she's going. She's a devotee.
Yeah.
My ancestors.
Your ancestors are going in the same direction that you're going. Gail, you're the one that's dragging your ancestors in the right direction.
They have no
Gail
idea.
Can back me up. Gail, remember when Maharaj said about that he saw the streams along the Jamuna when he was there on the day of this pastime, right? He said it, right?
Wow, yeah. Oh yeah. That's amazing.
That's really cool. So I was happy because there's no purport for that verse, but I do have a purport from a disciple of Srila Prabhupada from my Guru Dev. Thanks, Gail.
Well, thank you for speaking on definitely my favorite subject matter.
Oh, well, that's Ananda Bihari's genius of calling me up for this one.
Jamuna,
Jeffrey,
can I ask a question?
Thank you, Jeffrey, also for putting all those links and
yes,
quotes in the chat. I copied them all.
yeah,
Thank
you. Thank you, Jeffrey, because my tech just went south this morning. So thank you, Jeffrey.
Jamuna,
Ananda
I have a
Bihari.
question. Yeah, I have a question that I wanted to ask you specifically. So you seem to be like a person who has zero doubts about Krishna and devotional service. And the question is, when we do something that is not well thought through and screw up in our attempt to serve Krishna, is it okay to think that it's okay, Krishna will take care of it, there's no failure in my attempt to serve him? And on the other hand, if we drift into overthinking, over-calculating things, is that a lack of faith? Is that an offense, thinking that Krishna doesn't know what's going on, Krishna won't bail me out? So how to not drift into recklessness and stupidity, thinking that Krishna is going to clean up my mess. And on the other hand, how to not get into overthinking, doubting Krishna's ability to work in our life.
That's and I'd be eager to hear other people's answers. Here's just my humble opinion on that. I think for the first part, like Krishna tells us in the Gita, even if someone's doing something abominable, they are to be forgiven if they're rightly situated. What we have to remember is Krishna knows all. So Krishna knows the intention behind the act. And that's what I think. He knows behind the act. So even if I've stumbled and fallen, he knows my intention. He knows my heart. He knows that I'm at least trying. And he's so kind to us that he's willing to take just the intention. Yeah. So I always think that it's not that we are supposed to, and we know about the offense. It's not like we're continually supposed to do stuff and say, because I said a Maha Mantra, it's okay. No, we do our part of the bargain. We try as hard as we can, but we are human. We are human. And we know we know the flaws of being a human. We make mistakes. And we know that, and Krishna knows that. And this is what I find very encouraging. On the days I feel like I am such a freaking idiot, I know, well, at least Krishna knows within. He knows back behind the layer. He knows my heart. And so I think for the first thing, we're not to like be willy-nilly. It's like, it's okay. He'll forgive me. No, but we understand that there will be forgiveness, because that's where Krishna is not like, with regular people. That's where Krishna is not a person like we are a person. When we offend or do something wrong, regular people, they may not forgive us because people got baggage with the forgiveness thing. But Krishna will forgive us, and he knows our heart. Yeah. So let's really think about the first part of it. And the second part of it, the overthink. Again, I think almost the answer is the same. Like, Krishna knows our nature. I am not, like, to be Ms. Farr, what I was saying, I am an overthinker. I'm not an overthinker. I am not elevated enough that I can do that thing that Doyle Garunga does and show up and talk about the verse beautifully for 45 minutes. Like, every time I get the email from you, I'm in a sheer state of panic, and I'm researching all week, and I have tons of notes. Tons. Glad I printed them out because the computer went down. But I also know, again, I do my part. I prepare. And then Bhagavad Gita 2.47, then I take my hands out and I make it an offering. And I think that's the thing. We can do our part because Krishna gave us the intellect. He gave us the buddhi mind. He gave us a mind to think. And so we use it. But then we understand it's you, Krishna. And we know this. Because you can endeavor, like today, I had everything set up. I was going to have this verse, the computer. Blah, blah, blah. It was working at 6:30. At 7:00, it was gone. Okay. So we use our intelligence, but we take our mitts off.
Yeah, we prepare and then we take our hands off. Cool.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, here comes the conch shell. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. What a class. We're blown away.
Hare Krishna.
Shri Shri Radha Muridhar, Shri Gaurachandra Ki Jai, Jamuna Jaya Devi Ki Jai, everybody on this call Ki Jai. Should we do an afterglow? This was such a class. Yeah. Yeah, I was saying this was such a wonderful class. I'm not sure if we can glow any further. It was just so much glowing, so much joy, so much. It was so lively. Everybody says Jamuna Jaya. Thank you. It's
There was a
contagious.
girl named Rasa that wanted to say something. Did you see that lady?
Oh no, where is she?
She's still there?
Rasa lady, where are you?
Maybe she left.
Oh, sorry.
Well, let me say something.
Yes, please, Adi, please.
Don't go in the elevator while speaking. You're going to be cut off.
I'm already in. Just take a minute. We want to talk about Damodar Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Jamuna, Jaya, you are such a shining example of joyful, loving relationship. Your spiritual masses, your confidence and your joy in spiritual life is so powerful. It's so wonderful. And I was just thinking about a few of our experiences with Damodar Maharaj. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
He froze.
We told him, see?
We had remember Father Joseph? Guest program, Father Joseph?
Yeah.
He's a Russian Orthodox priest, a priest over there near the park. And he came and he was taking prasadam, and then he gave a donation, and then he started working with us with the guest program. So he worked with me for like about 6 months. And then one day I introduced him to Damodar Maharaj. And in 10 minutes of me listening to him talking with Damodar Maharaj, I learned more about that guy than in the 6 months that I worked with him. Maharaj was just like, it was just inquiring from him and listening to him and getting to know him and understanding his experiences and his activities. And it was just wonderful to see his interest in the person. And when Maharaj comes out to the prasad distribution for the park, at the homeless, this meal distribution for the homeless, he works the whole crowd. He talks to the homeless people. He talks to the volunteers. He talks to everybody.
Talks to everyone.
And I'm just like thinking, God, I want to be like that when I grow up. So like you have a wonderful relationship with your spiritual master, and it's an example for all of us of this. And you just told us recently that Mars is excited to come to the new little temple that we opened.
Yes. You saw the message he sent. I sent it to Domi so you can see. Did she show it to you? He just sent me.
I didn't see it yet.
Okay, Domi, I sent it to Domi. He sent me an email, said that he's excited, and he said that you were such a wonderful devotee and he can't wait to serve you.
Hare Krishna. Anyway, we welcome him in our heart and grateful for his association. And you are, a manifestation of his brilliance. Okay, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Adi. Saraswami Ki Jai.
See, this is what elevated souls do. They serve each other.
I'm in the elevator.
Where are you going? Up or down?
I'm not elevated, but I'm in the elevator.
Adi's going downward.
Downward, yeah.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it. There are souls down there, like us.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, he went down to pick me up from the gutter. Here I am, serving. Okay, let's take some reflections. It's so easy to reflect Jamuna Jaya's class. We want ladies to speak. Ladies, please. Mute yourself.
I'd like to say something.
I have a question. I'm not sure I'm a lady.
There she is.
I don't know which of these ladies to address first, but I think I'll take Kamala Mukti's question before the other mysterious lady.
Hi, Krishna.
Very
I just have a quick question. I'm not going to praise you because it would take hours. Quick question for you, though, and I know we touched about this the other day on our call. I was really moved to hear you speak a little bit about Radhanath Swami's description of how he felt when he, first associated with Srila Prabhupada. would you say, or can you say, one of a good response for aspiring devotees and people who are new to Krishna consciousness when they ask, and I'm constantly asked this question, how do you know? How does one know when they meet their guru? And I feel like people ask for a formula, and I wish I could give the formula, but I think in the end, is the answer when you know, you know?
Yes. I think that, we could ask every single initiated person on this phone call and it would all be different. And it is, some people, it is instantaneously. For some, like when I took shelter of Maharaj, I did it in the most horrible way. The asking was just stupid and stupid. I wish I could take it back. But once I did it, I was like, oh, but of course it was just like, of course he is, and I really think it, because it is, it's Krishna from in the heart. This is, and he, that's what the Krishna, we pray, like someone said this just in class the other week. We are we get on the path and we're seeking, and then Krishna from within lights the way. And it's this internal, inexplicable knowing of like, that's it. So there, and I always tell for people that there's no timeline. There's, and that sometimes people think there's a timeline, do this.
Yes.
There was somebody the
Yes.
other day who was like, well, do I get to choose my name? I'm like, no, you don't get to choose your name. Like, it's not a thing. Right. But I think it's like, because Krishna lights the lamp from within, it just comes as this like inexplicable knowing. And
Right. Like
yeah.
it shouldn't be 5 minutes or like one trip to the altar, but you feel it from within, right? That's
Yes.
the answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, I think it's difficult sometimes, people, if they're around a lot of people that have one guru and they're not feeling it, they might feel weird or whatever,
Yeah.
So I mean, it is the most important choice you're gonna make in your life. So you really need to listen within. But it's been my experience that for me, it was like, oh, of course. It was just like, and I had known Maharaj for several years, right? But it was just that, like Radha, it's a lifting of the cloud came, and then I just knew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know if that mysterious other woman and other people who initiated might want to, like, I don't know if they want to chime in. Karen, are you other Karen?
No, I'm not initiated. I had a question.
Yeah.
I'll mute myself so you can.
Yeah. Oh no, you can have, if you have a question. Go ahead, Karen.
Okay. So hi, Jamuna, Jaya. So
hey, Karen and family.
I've shared like a little bit a long time ago about this, and it's like just that I came to this bhakti tradition a long time ago, and then have just sort of spent a long time dancing around the sidelines, and then being really distant, and then like just like my life blowing up in every direction, and kind of like really trying to dive deep, like within the last year. And so sorry, you okay? So when I came, when I was, Isaiah, please, I'm trying to talk, honey. Okay. I was in New York, right? I was going to all these kirtans at Yoga Maya. I know you from there, and in the Bhakti Center, and I did, Achyuta Gopi, like kirtans were totally pulling me in all the time. And then I did the harmonium workshop with Gauravani, and he he mentioned his guru, and I was just like, yes, like, where is all this coming from? I need to like know this. What is this? And he mentions the retreat in the Bahamas, and I go on that retreat, and then with Radhanath Swami, and then he comes and he speaks, and I'm just like weeping, I just was totally kind of like captivated. And through that whole, Isaiah, please, through that whole time, Isaiah, I'm trying to talk. Okay. Through that whole time, I was getting as much of Radhanath Swami in the summertime when he comes to the Bhakti Center. And sorry, this is like trying to say a story and I'm a little distracted.
Seeing the pastime somebody's
anyways, yeah. So I, I go to Switzerland and I kind of rediscover Bhakti, and I've been going back and forth, and I literally just got back to New Hampshire on Tuesday, and we are here trying to be here permanently. Now we're adjusting to the time zone that you guys are in. But about a week and a half ago, there was the Zurich Ratha Yatra, and Radhanath Swami made a surprise appearance and came to the Ratha Yatra, and I was like, oh my God, I've been missing him for over 5 years. Like, I never see him. Now that I'm in Europe and I never get to go back to New York in June because their school doesn't end till July, midway through July, and so it was like this really funny thing. Like, I had mentioned it to other people, and they're like, yeah, I don't know, maybe it'll take you 5 years if you want to get initiated by Radhanath Swami. But I haven't had that kind of like that courage or that like surrounding kind of devotee association to know how to do it. And I did this like dancing Vaishnavi kind of service for the procession, and sorry, I'm getting a call. And then he gave like a 2-minute talk on the stage. And as he was coming down, like I had been speaking to one of the devotees that was dancing with me, that I kind of wanted to like know how to approach him. And she's like, come with me. And she takes me, and she goes totally nervous too. And she says, Maharaj, she wants to be your disciple. And it was just very kind of awkward and kind of funny and nerve-wracking. And so then, sorry, I keep getting a call. I have to take in a minute. But he just kind of like bobbled his head at me and moves on, and then basically leaves. So it was a funny kind of like embarrassing situation. And then it just made me like realize, and now like hearing all of this that you're saying, I don't know, I'm kind of rambling. I think I'm just a little bit over stimulated and really nervous, but I just wanted to share that and get your feedback and like how one dances in this gray zone. Okay.
Well, so thank you for sharing, because I don't know if you see, I know you're dealing with Isaiah on your phone, but I don't know, you're seeing the joy that we all are feeling in hearing you describe this really visceral response. And I see somebody putting in just like they're agreeing with you. I'm like that when I'm around my guru, did it in the chat box. There are people like encouraging you on. It's a really beautiful thing that there's clearly something in your heart that the plow is in, and so from there, the relationship, and this is something all the initiated devotees can say, the relationship between everyone in the spiritual masters is different, and that's their genius. My spiritual master has a completely different relationship with my god sister, Bhakti Devi, who's sometimes on the call, or Ishvari Sundari, or my god sisters. Completely different relationship than he has with me, because the guru really sees each person individually and sees exactly what they need on their spiritual path, and exactly the kind of instruction and encouragement that they need. Yeah. So from here, like I was telling Kamala Mukti, it could be linear, it could be not linear. I would say continue to stoke the fires in your heart, continue to associate with Mirage wherever you can. And there's plenty of ways in classes and online. If you feel so moved, you contact a disciple of his, and then you can write him a letter under their guidance. And he responds. I happen to know that he responds to everyone. Radhanath Maharaj is extraordinary with the amount of people he can hold in his heart. I'm not his disciple, but he knows my name and he knows everything about me. I don't know how he does that, but he walks in the temple and goes, Jamuna Jaya. And I'm like, how do you know who I am? How do you even know who I am? But he does, because his heart is that giant. So continue to associate with him. And there's so many different ways. And then seek out, there's many Radhanath Swami devotees. Sounds like your friend literally dragged you to him, And so continue to let yourself be dragged in that direction, because it definitely sounds like that is something that is entrenched in your heart already. So, and yay for being a mom.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And there's
Lord Chaitanya says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that when he was being glorified, somebody was glorifying Lord Chaitanya, praising his scholarship. Lord Chaitanya says, my spiritual master finds me a great fool. So, and then Srila Prabhupada explains in the lecture, he says that a spiritual master should be that much qualified that you are ready to study under him like a fool. That's Srila Prabhupada's statement. So
That's
we
beautiful.
don't just surrender to anyone. It has to be a qualified person to such an extent that we kind of feel a little bit foolish, and we'll always remain a fool in the presence of our guru. That's the instruction. Yeah. Just 5 cents.
That's very true.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes, Adi.
Yeah. Just one simple statement. When the disciple is ready, the guru appears in our life. And so we may think, some people tell me, well, Mars is not so accessible. He has thousands of people he's caring for, and he's not here very often. But that when we really are ready to allow someone to speak into our life, when we feel inspired to be dedicated, and we're looking for somebody we can trust and worthy of our obedience, at that moment we become a disciple. It may not be a formal initiation with the fire sacrifice and all these mantras, but when I say, Krishna, I really want to take shelter of a genuine spiritual master, Krishna will give it right away. If you could be living up in a tree on a desert island, and the relationship is instantly there. We have a responsibility to desire properly, and Krishna will reciprocate. Krishna sees that, and Krishna gives that, and it's happening. And Guru can speak to us. Nothing can separate us from. Prabhupada said, I'm never separated from my spiritual master. In the Bible, it says, what can separate us from the love of Christ? Oceans, mountains, time, even if he leaves the planet. If that person is, if you're ready for Guru, and Krishna indicates this one, and then sooner or later, we get to the point where we say, what should I do between now and the point of formal initiation? He'll tell us. And we, like you said very nicely, you have somebody who is already serving Maharaj. You associate with that person, and you hear from that person, and you assist that person in their service. And we render service to the spiritual master. There's that one story where Prajapati Daksha had thousands of sons. And then Narada Muni came, and they were performing austerities, getting prepared to get married and help him propagate the planet with population. And then Narada Muni spoke to them, and they all became Narada Muni's disciples. And Prajapati Daksha was, wait a minute, my son, my 2,000 sons, what? So they were his disciples, and they said, we should serve our guru. So each of them brought him a glass of water. So he had 2,000 glasses of water. He said, that's ridiculous. I know you want to serve me, but what I want you to do is preach. If you want to please me, give what I've given to you to others. And anyone can pass on what they've heard from Guru to everyone they meet. Everyone. The lady in the checkout counter at the grocery store, and the, person on the street walking their dog. We can preach. I'm talking too much. I have a lot to say. I'll let you go. It goes to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Adipusha, for a wonderful elaboration on the nature of the relationship between the guru and the disciple. That's the essence. We do service, we share bhakti with others, we treat other people in such a way that they know that Krishna is there for them. On behalf of our guru, we treat other people nicely and share bhakti with them. True. Thank you. Okay, Bhima Prabhu has his hand up.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's
Jeffrey
an old
Prabhu.
hand, and Jeffrey had put his hand up, but I don't know if Bhima's from before.
Bhima Prabhu, if you were to choose your name, what name would you assign to yourself? Acharya something.
Damn fool.
Okay.
I just wanted to quickly say it's amazing. We should have a conversation about the relationship that the beginning of the relationship that one has with Guru, because literally it's probably the most important relationship one can have in our lives. And we have other relationships, of course. We find a partner to which we share this journey with, in marriage. We have relationships with our children, and we have friendships. And in all cases, it is true that, you meet the one who is right first, but with everyone, especially with friends and partners, spouses, trust is the first thing. So if you find that this person, you can implicitly trust them. And I'll just give a brief example. I did not want to, when I first came to the movement, I was well aware of what was expected in regards to, and remember, this is the early 80s, 1980, 81. And it was very strict back then. When you became a devotee, you shaved up, you gave everything away, and you moved into the temple, and you did what you were told. That's the way it was in the 70s and the 80s, early 80s. And so it was a major form of surrender. So, of course, taking on a guru was a very serious matter. And I would just have to say, I'm sitting here, I'm trying to splice wires together to make a connection, electrical connection, to keep the horses in their boundaries. And I was just thinking about how Radhanath Swami, made a connection with me first. He established a trust with me first. It took some months because I was reluctant, as with a lot of very mature people these days. I see that they take the guru relationship very, very seriously, as if it was a marriage, as important as marriage, because once you take on a guru, you have that responsibility to follow and to love, honor, and obey until death do you part. And guess what? Death does not do us part with our guru. And Radhanath Swami, and this is just hearkening back to Danadhar Swami and what Adi said about how Danadhar Swami instantly connected with the father and, talked to him. And Anupam Das was telling me a story about Vishnu John, how back in the day, this devotee that was traveling with Vishnu John, and if anybody knows Vishnu John, about the history, the legend of Vishnu John, he was something else, something otherly else. He was a great saint, a great singer, very, very, very attractive personality who was responsible for bringing and bolstering the faith of many into the movement during the 70s. But long story short, Vishnu John, he said the story is that they had picked up when they were driving, they had picked up, this is of course the early 60s or the 60s when people were hitchhiking, they had picked up a hitchhiker, and the whole way the devotee noticed Vishnu John just talked to this person who was also, I guess he was hitchhiking with a guitar, and Vishnu John was a great musician. And the whole way Vishnu John just talked to this person about Led Zeppelin. And the devotee about Led Zeppelin, of all things, not about preaching or anything like that, just talk to him about music. And at the end of the trip, and the devotee was like, why isn't he preaching? Why is he talking about rock and roll and stuff like that? And then at the end of the trip, the person that they had, Vishnu John had been talking to, followed Vishnu John to the temple and went inside, and he within like 1 or 2 days decided to be shaved up and became a devotee, because Vishnu John had made that connection. There's a movie, She Stoops to Conquer. So I remember, and I'll end it here, that the guru comes to where the disciple is at. The guru reaches out to the disciple, finds where that disciple is in their consciousness, hooks them with friendship, and then gains the trust until, of course, as within my case, you fall absolutely in love with the person and you say to yourself, this is a person I can follow for the rest of my life. So anyways, I just like to draw that connection as I try to make this connection with these wires. Hare Krishna.
Bhima Prabhu, can you put those wires around my head so that every time I'm tempted to do some prajalpa or disobey my guru, I get zapped?
I can put them around your neck.
Yeah, that's even better. Yeah, that's even better. Thank you. Jeffrey Prabhu has his hand up.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I just wanted to appreciate Jamuna Jaya for answering to my concern the other day in your discussion today, and really opening my eyes this morning in this discussion of guru. And I have to say, I'm completely unqualified to speak on that topic because I'm uninitiated and I do not have a guru. But the feeling of listening to Jamuna today and being addressed and feeling personally seen, and there's this concept that Ananda Vihari has brought up in the past called lolium, and it's like this greed for spiritual awakening, I guess, in a way. And I think Jamuna Jaya has opened my eyes to seeing that guru awakens that lolium, awakens that greed, and it's a greed for service. And I could feel it today in your computer distress, the desire to help you and serve you as you were speaking. It was a form of greed for me today, and it was apparent. So I appreciate you and thank you for really opening my eyes this morning. Thank you, Jamuna Jaya.
Thank you, Jeffrey, and really thank you for your service. And you hit the nail on your head. That's what it is. They do this. They awaken something, and that you use the right word, awaken, because it's there. That's what we learn. That bhakti is our constitutional nature, and the guru is that, like, what do we say? Lit the lamp of knowledge, within us, and we bow down and offer obeisances again and again and again. And it is, Prabhupada defines it as devotional service, not just devotion service. So anytime we move to serve, that is Krishna sending the guru. So yeah, I'm so glad that you got this. So perhaps that is why Krishna put the whammy on my tech this morning, because here's my plow. I'm going in to get Jeffrey today, and I'm going to screw up your computer so I could hook Jeffrey a little bit more.
It's all just Krishna's arrangement so that Jeffrey Eckler could be engaged in service.
Absolutely. It was just, yes, now I see. Yeah, this is all Krishna's plan all along. Jeffrey asked that question the other day. Okay, Jamuna Jaya, he's gonna
yeah, you're lucky, Jeffrey Prabhu, because it's not easy to serve a person like Jamuna Jaya. She never takes any service. She was always serving herself. So that's not easy. Thank you, Jamuna Jaya, for accepting that service from Jeffrey Prabhu.
Well, I'm so happy to have it. As I said, luckily also at printouts. Poor tree that I left to recycle.
Thank you, Jamuna Jaya. Thank you for preparing for class, for sharing your realization with us, for being you, and letting us associate with you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I was telling Kamala Mukti, because she's fairly new to being in the call, I said, this class is more than a class. It really is a community. And it really gives us both, it gives us Sadhu Shastra, and because we get the Shastra, but we also have this wonderful community. Thanks to you, really, Ananda Bihari, for making everyone feel welcome, and Jeffrey Eckler, and also, of course, our glittery Gopi, like doing the back end stuff and stuff like that. So it really is such an honor. I do have to bounce because I gotta go soon. But thank you, everyone, so much.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna. We love you. I'm getting calls. I need to go share bhakti on behalf of my guru with this random caller. I promise I won't let my guru down. Hare Krishna, Jamuna Jaya. Thank you. Such an inspiration, your class.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Thanks,
Hare Krishna.
everyone. See you tomorrow. Haribol.
Bye-bye.
That's my shoe. Yes. That's one of my brought my bag.
Yeah, where's
She wants to drop this bag. She's coming to use her. No, I'm trying to see who's my notes. Oh, here. Oh.